curse. When they use you, they treat you like a pie. But when they throw you away, it's like throwing away garbage. Don't be stupid. Just one sentence whether you want to live or not. Now, only we can help you. If you kill me, it is equivalent to committing suicide. Wei Sheng's hand holding the gun was trembling, and he was breathing loudly. This dungeon is about to be completely cleared, and many puzzles are about to surface. It would be a pity if it were lost here. In the end, Lai Sheng closed his eyes in pain. He lowered his gun. Due to exhaustion, Lai Sheng sat down on the ground, his previously ferocious expression turning into one of despair. Slowly, he took out a cigarette, put it in his mouth, and lit it. The smell of the cigarette smoke helped to dispel some of the tension in the air. Am I pitiable the way I am now? Lai Sheng blew out a puff of smoke and smiled miserably. Yang Linlin, holding her injured leg, gritted her teeth and cursed. You have the nerve to say you're pitiable. Those students you tortured and reformed, the families you destroyed, and the pile of nerve endings in that jar. Aren't they more pitiable than you? Wei Sheng sighed, slowly leaning his head against the cabinet, his eyes unfocused. He finished one cigarette and lit another. In such a short time, his face had changed drastically. My daughter is in their hands. 7 years ago, my wife died of cancer. Before she left, she asked me to take good care of our daughter. I'm sorry for my wife. Now, I have to feel sorry for my daughter too. At this point, he laughed as though he were losing his mind. Seeing his pitiful appearance, Yang Linlin lost most of her hatred. She suddenly remembered the letter to his daughter that they had seen on the severed hand outside, and asked, all of your wife and children are controlled by that organization. Wei Sheng closed his eyes, his breathing becoming weaker, and tossed the gun aside. You think our sins are unforgivable, but in fact, how do we have the right to choose? If you had to choose between dying, saving your family, or a stranger, would you choose your family? Yang Linlin was silent. She had looked down on Lai Sheng and thought he was a bad person with heinous crimes. But if she were in his shoes, she would probably make the same choice. People are selfish. You can sneak into this school, so you're not ordinary people. If you're willing to do me a favor, I'll tell you how to turn off the curse. Zhao Yi put his hands in his pockets and said with a smile, don't ask us to help you save your daughter, right? Wei Sheng shook his head and said sarcastically, just you, and saving my daughter. Once you get close to the organization, you'll be discovered and dealt with immediately. After a pause, he glanced at Yang Linlin. Of course, if you don't take this silly woman with you, with your cleverness, you should survive longer. Yang Linlin said angrily, you're stupid. Your whole family is stupid. Zhao Yi kept looking into Lai Sheng's eyes and hesitated for a moment. What do you want us to help you with? Lai Sheng struggled to get up from the ground, staggered to an unobtrusive corner of the laboratory, and opened a cabinet. He tore off a piece of wallpaper that was the exact same color as the rest of the cabinet. There was a small hole in the back. Inside was a metal safe. Lai Sheng opened the safe through fingerprint recognition and handed a strange green reagent to Zhao Yi. What's this? The product of another project? The method is still immature, but the danger level is no less than X2. Lai Sheng handed it to Zhao Yi, and his lips grew more and more blue. The organization will not let this thing go. Maybe in a few months, maybe in a few years, when this place is completely turned to ruins, they will definitely send people to search it. Once this thing falls into the hands of the organization. He didn't continue. The dizziness from blood loss was worsening. Wei Sheng shook his head, trying to stay awake and breathing heavily. About the curse. It all comes from a magic box. Just close that box, and the curse will disappear. That box is in the center of the fog. The ominous things in the fog will not attack things that appear to be dead. If you can reduce your emotional ups and downs as much as possible, you may be able to get there. Lai Sheng, lying on the ground, was gradually losing his vital signs. His body temperature was dropping, and his face was becoming pale. The blood flowing from his broken arm had coagulated. Yang Linlin stood beside the giant jar, feeling uneasy. Lai Sheng was clearly a bad guy, but his story made him seem so real that Yang Linlin forgot he was an NPC in the dungeon. Zhao Yi's attention remained focused on the pile of nerve endings in the jar. From a psychiatrist's perspective, I think he's telling the truth. But this is obviously not the way the system wants us to proceed. There should be an easier way to destroy the curse. Otherwise, if we follow Lai Sheng's idea, even if the newcomers to the dungeon know about this method, 99 out of 100 will die trying. Then do we have to find another way to break the curse? Zhao Yi thought carefully about what had happened and said, it's not necessary. Taking shortcuts is a good thing for us. Shortcuts mean less chance of surprises. He stared at the secret passage where Lai Sheng had entered, eager to try. I'll leave now. Yang Linlin didn't follow Zhao Yi. She knew she couldn't maintain a stable mental value like him. Following Zhao Yi now wouldn't just bring